All right, all right.
We hear you dig. I need a clapper. The clapper's over there, so we're just gonna clap your hands, clap. All right.
It's all the way over there.
You dig.
All right.
Yeah, we here, man. We gonna get right into it. But first, I have to say, shout out to everybody still for those of you who are watching or keeping up. These last couple of days, I've had a few people come up to me and give us kudos about the pod and that
kudos.
We like kudos. I don't like the actual snack kudos because ain't there a chocolate bar called kudos?
There is.
Yeah, I ain't a fan, but you know what I'm saying. I love that it's resonating, it's hitting for some people, and it's been expressed to me, so I'm extending that to you because you did not hear the feedback. So thank you. Shout out to everybody that's watching. This is the Phree Game Podcast. I am a co-host here. My name is Phree, and every podcast I am joined humbly. I am humbled to have my man to my right.
Yo, what's up? It's your man's J.G. What to do?
You dig. And we love doing this. So shout out to y'all for, giving us the energy back because we love that.
Energy.
You dig. So we haven't been numbering the episodes. And we're not going to start today because fuck numbers. No.
Wowzers.
Just kidding. It was a joke. All right. It was a joke.
I got you. I feel you. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Not, but fuck organization.
This is not a numbers game. This is free game. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying? And so we're just going to keep rocking with it. And you know what I'm saying? But we do have to talk about some things. And we have to address a few things today. Get it out the way because, one, I'm over the shits. I'm over talking about it. I'm over the kikis.
Right.
I'm over the bullshit. I'm over the... what are we talking about? Hip-hop ain't hip-hop no more. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Talk about it.
We all know it started with the Kendrick and the, you know what I'm saying, J. Cole. J. Cole went with the 7-minute drill, responded to Kendrick Lamar, who, obliterated him. Everybody says it was ABC bars. I say he obliterated him in one bar. It's whatever, however you see it. Cool. I'm a J. Cole fan. Let that be known. So this is not J. Cole hate or shade. This is coming from a true J. Cole fan. Mm-hmm. I don't want to talk about the album because I was about to go off on the album. We're going to talk about the beef first. And I don't know how I feel about the apology. I'm tired of people asking me. Everybody that knows me, that sees me, they're like, so what'd you think about the J. Cole apology? And I'm just like, bruh, we're not going to talk about this. But it's clearly needing to be talked about. It's what's popping right now in the reality TV world of hip hop and the internet.
It's interesting because of the things that have happened since the apology went down, right?
The cattiness.
Well, a little bit, but also what's happened musically since then, right? So Drake and J. Cole drop a track, and J. Cole makes reference to the big three, K. Dot, Drake, and me, but he's feeling like Muhammad Ali. I guess you could take that as a diss, whatever. So then K. Dot comes back on a track conveniently named Like That, where he goes with Metro Boomin and Future. Mm-hmm. Where he goes at this concept of the big three. Mm-hmm. He said it ain't no big three, it's just big me. Mm-hmm. And then some lyrical, metaphorical threats. K's coming with the 9, blah, blah. There's some internal math. Y'all know how Kendrick do. He be mad esoteric and lyrical with it and et cetera, right? So then quickly after that, everybody's like, oh my God, when is Drake going to respond? You know how the internet be like, Drake has 48 hours to respond, which is ridiculous to ask somebody to put together some music that quickly, right? But J. Cole comes back first. He's got 7-minute drill. He drops a release called Might Delete Later. Everybody's still waiting for the fall off, still waiting for the fall. This album has been teased for how many years now?
I don't know, but he said it was still coming.
He did say it's still coming.
But I don't want to cut you off. That's why I'm not interjecting. But I think the fall off, like, I think he alley-ooped his own fall off. Maybe he is planning his own demise.
Well, that's the thing. This is what I'm saying, right?
This is the rollout for the fallout. Right.
So there's some interesting things happening here, right? Because, like, We Don't Trust You was the album that came out with the K. Dot verse on Like That, right? Which kind of like references, Drake said at one point, "You gonna make me catch a body like that," and then they're like, "Oh, you're not really like that." It's like the whole thing is like a diss towards Drake. So now there's like this Thanos thing with Drake. It's the whole industry against Drake, whatever, right? So J. Cole drops a response just to Kendrick, 7-minute drill. Then he goes on stage at his festival in front of his audience, his people, and he's like, "Yo, I've been on the spiritual journey. It didn't sit right with me. I said some things. I was like, yo, this is the corniest thing I ever did. So I'm pulling it down." So between him saying that he's going to pull it down and actually coming down, because it actually is down off of streaming now, this release, Might Delete Later, goes like astronomical, right? Because people now know, oh, this is now a limited opportunity for me to listen to this before it goes off of streaming. And he gets himself a #1 release, right? And now it comes down. Well, now it's Drake's turn to respond. Drake comes out with Give Me 50. And he comes at everybody, right? So he has bars in there for Metro Boomin, who is just the producer. He didn't even rhyme on the joint. He has bars on there for Future. For some reason, he comes at Rick Ross.
Does shoe size matter?
Oh my God. Yo, so, Drake took it to a very interesting place, right? Because, like, he's often very playful with his lyricism, metaphors. He can also be lyrical. It just depends. A lot of people say, oh, it depends on who wrote it. We're not even going to get into that, right?
Nah, fuck all that. I'm asking, do shoe size matter? Does the size of your foot as a man
doesn't matter to me? I don't give a damn.
You know what they say about men with small or big feet?
Oh, Lord Jesus.
Just say it.
Why is Drake concerned about this?
Big stepper.
Yeah, he made a reference to like how you gonna be a big stepper with a
size
7 men's on, which I mean, whatever. Clever bars, whatever. People were like, oh my God, and everything gets amped up on the internet. Like nobody has really dropped lethal or killer bars in this thing to me.
I'm gonna keep it a stack. I didn't even listen to 50
it's all good.
In full. I listened to the beginning of it.
The day after, moments after Drake drops his diss, here comes Rick Ross with the response. This is starting to seem mad suspicious to me.
All he did was accuse him of a BBL and
of being a white boy.
Job.
And of being a white boy.
But we all know he's white.
He did call him a white boy a bunch of times.
But we know he's white. What? Like, it's redundant.
And he said Wayne put him on and this, that, the other.
And Meg
blah, blah,
already dropped that he has fake abs. So why are you playing off of somebody else's diss?
I mean,
Rick Ross just wants to be relevant. Where's Rick Ross been?
Whatever it took to get under Drake's skin, pun intended, Rick Ross has done it, right? Like,
yeah, because
Drake is now responding. It's all this back and forth. I think these cats are in the group chat. Like, yo, we need to build some momentum for what we got going on. We're touring, we're releasing stuff, this, that, the other, blah, blah. Let's start a beef. And I got a question, like, is this really beef or is it an Impossible Burger? You know what I'm saying? Like, these are all cats that have collaborated, been on stage together. Drake lays claim to putting a bunch of these cats on. Like, where did the beef come from? And other people are like, yo, if everybody is beefing with you, you can't like be there like, oh, I didn't do anything. And I mean, maybe we'll get to the bottom of it. Maybe we don't. But it just seems like it's really, really good for these cat streams. Whether it's good for the culture remains to be seen.
We're in an era, like I said, of reality TV. Mm-hmm. Like everything is, what can we do for the internet to get numbers, to get people to watch? It's entertainment. It's no longer like real shit. Like, do you think it's destroyed the culture of hip hop? Because
what do I think destroyed the culture of hip hop? I said,
do you think it like shit like this stuff like this, like it dilutes the culture of anything? Like when you play like this or you turn it into some kind of play thing, people think it's for, you know what I'm saying? We need this for the culture. We need the battle. We don't.
I think people are confused about
what culture is, first of all, what the culture of hip hop is, and then like, you know what I'm saying? How do you reflect that or how do you respond to that? And I think back to the question, because I asked you originally about J. Cole and his apology. Like, you know, there's a flip side to that. Like, I was extremely just disappointed as a J. Cole fan because, you know, for the culture of hip hop, it's like, fine, you take shots, we take shots all the time. Fine, you say what you say. That's not the problem about the dissing or the subs and songs. It's that when you start to be like, yes, who's the king, right? Like, I'm the king, like, and then you back down. It's kind of very it is very disappointing to a fan. And that's what I mean by the culture of hip hop and like what you're like, you just. And then now everybody's like, oh, okay, well, now let's attack Drake. Let's team up together and get one off and make a mockery. I love that word, mockery, because that's all I see in this industry. I swear to God, it's just facades and mockeries, man. I swear. It's like, for real. It's like, where's the genuine, authentic, like, true music? Like, why are we doing this?
I think of
go into battle rap. If you want to sit here and play like this, I go into step into the ring and actually, you know, go at each other bar for bar. Why are we on streaming platforms, you know, playing with each other's lives and shit?
Shout outs to battle rap. I would love to see a J. Cole Loaded Lux.
That's what I'm saying.
Battle, that would be amazing.
Maybe that's his next thing, like the fall off, and then he go into battle rap.
Go to battle rap.
You feel me? Like that might be a look for him, because here it looks like it's washed. I don't think anybody's really rooting for J. Cole anymore now.
I think a lot of people are still rooting for
No,
J.
they
Cole.
love him. There's a difference between loving somebody and rooting for somebody. In a competition, everybody has counted J. Cole out of the competition.
Well, he counted himself. He pulled himself out of the competition. He said he doesn't want to do it.
Yeah, and so what does that do now for his career? Because now motherfuckers is looking at his. We can't take you serious anymore, bruh. Like, what you gonna come out with next?
I don't know that.
Besides your retirement,
I don't know that J. Cole is vulnerable to not having a career because of this one incident. He spent a lot of years. He has a lot of loyal fans. He even to this day, even though he would not defend 7 Minute Drill. He said himself, it didn't sit right with my spirit, so I had to pull it down. He has people defending that, people defending him, defending things that he probably wouldn't defend, right? Like, fandom is a very, very interesting thing. And like, the psychology of it is very interesting, because you have people on the internet who are literally going back and forth, both sides swearing that they're right. Kendrick killed Cole. Cole killed Kendrick. This, I think, oh, Cole had to pull back because blah, blah. Oh, Cole was alley-ooping this, or it was just a warning shot, or it was this or that or the other. Everybody has their interpretations, right? And like, I don't know that any of this internet chatter, right, affects the sales of someone who has a long established career, because we basically are in a place in the music industry where it's siloed enough, right? That like, even if the majority of people who aren't Drake fans at the end of the day say, yo, Drake lost this battle, he got smashed, his career is over. His career is not over, because his fans are still going to be his fans.
That's different. Losing a battle just off of like, because you took an L, not because you quit. Like, that's totally two different things. Quitting is gonna end your career, not end your career. Do I think that J. Cole's career can be ended? No. He's put out classics. He has classic projects out. We can't take that away from him. But what I'm saying is, going forward, hey, you done lost a lot of fans. And not a lot of people are banking on what you're bringing to the table anymore. It's just that simple. Not that we don't think he's great or one of the GOATs. He is. In my opinion, he is, regardless of his apology. I just think that now it's hard to take him serious as a rapper who raps about the things he raps about. If you're just gonna back down, unless you're gonna change completely how you tell your stories now, and unless your content is gonna be different and it ain't gonna be king of, you know what I'm saying, I'm the one type ass top three. You can't come with a top three competitive, I'm the king nature or like, you know, energy and then back down. Like, you just can't. Nobody's taking you serious anymore. Nobody. And that's what I mean by end your career, because like, what is Cole talking about now in his music? Or what can he talk about now in his music?
He can talk about lots of things.
Did you hear the album, Might Delete Later?
No.
Okay. First of all, I wasn't a huge fan of his project, and it's no shade, but I am a true fan of his lyricism, of his flow, of his cadence, the way he enunciates, the way that he is able to deliver all the words, because he is compact. He spits a lot of words and is short. You know what I'm saying? So if you're not listening and paying attention, a lot of things will go over your head. I respect him. In this album, I just felt like it was lazy. It might have been rushed. It didn't give the same effect.
Yeah.
And then to do that, like you said, he goes on the apology tour, and then his album hits, or whatever you said, hits top.
Yeah.
And then he takes it off. So he got out of it what he needed to get out of it.
Well, he didn't take the whole album down. He just took
the 7-minute drill. But it took that 7-minute drill it to.
I think this Might Delete Later was really supposed to be like
deleted later, though.
Really like a mixtape, right? Like a kind of throwaway thing.
I think it was a setup.
Could be.
Might Delete Later, 7-minute drill. Then you apologize and then take that song down.
Then you show up. You show up
and it's a rollout for the fall off.
But then he showed up on Volume 2 of the Metro Boomin Future project, and last night he was on stage with Kendrick. Kendrick called him out on stage.
J.Cole?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's a very complicated story, right?
It's
because
for the
like
internet.
he apologizes, and then he shows up on this project that the 7-minute drill was a response to. He shows up on Volume 2 of that project, and then he shows up on stage next to K. Dot, the cat that he was dissing on 7-minute drill.
For what? So what they do on stage?
I mean, they have collaborations and stuff together. I didn't see the details.
They were doing songs together?
Yeah. They performed together. So what I'm saying is like,
so you don't think Kendrick's gonna respond to 7-minute drill?
I don't know if Kendrick is gonna respond to 7-minute drill.
He can't now. He pulled him out on his set.
That's what I'm saying, fam.
This is so corny.
What used to be this idea of hip hop and deathly competition and this, that, and ending people's careers, I think that era is done. I think it's over,
corny.
fam.
It's corny. It changes the culture of hip hop. It does. I don't care.
I'm
looking at both of them. Now, I'm not looking at Kendrick crazy. I'm looking at Cole crazy. And I'm a Cole fan, bro.
There's so many people that agree with you, though. There's so many people that agree with you. And at the same time,
and fuck all of y'all that are out there that are like, if you are mad that he apologizes because you have some dark demonic spirit that just you're
Lord
toxic
Jesus.
And fuck all of y'all. No,
people are allowed to feel how they feel, right? And like a lot of people were excited for this final face off, right? Because like Kendrick dropped that Control verse and Cole let it pass. Drake let it pass. Kendrick has been trying to call Drake out for 13 years now, and Drake has never responded. And this response, Give Me 50, is the first time that Drake has had a direct response to Kendrick. And he went at Kendrick for corny stuff, right? He was like, "Oh yeah, you did a feature with Taylor Swift, and you did some other thing with Maroon 5, and this, that, the other, and the third." And I'm like, Drake is making these accusations? Drake, the pop star Drake, is saying, "Oh, you're not legitimate because you collaborated with pop stars?" Like, it's not, none of this is serious to me. It doesn't make any sense.
It's corny. It's corny. I'm over it. Who gives who's dropping what next? This ain't no greatest of all time battle. I don't see
these cats are posting on IG every day.
It would have been the greatest of all time battle for J. Cole and Kendrick to go at it. That would have been the greatest battle.
I think that the greatest way for them
all time. That'd have been some Nas and Hove shit.
Maybe, right? But I think the best way for them to carry this out in a way that would have been commercially successful for both of them, nobody would have, to your point, lost respect for either of their stances in hip hop or status in hip hop. And that people have been saying, "Oh yeah, there's supposed to be this J. Cole Kendrick collaboration." Yeah, make it like make it a dramatic project, right? Like make it an artistic project where it's like literally a battle on wax, but it's just them going track for track back and forth, right? And then you can be like, "Oh yeah, it's just the friendly competition of hip hop. You preserve the culture, you get to do the thing." But
no,
this is messy.
Now they're gonna fuck messy. Now they're gonna do some kumbaya projects
kumbaya
together because they're elevated.
We all in the same gang part two.
They are in an elevated place in their life right now, and they feel like
spiritual journey.
No, I'm not even mad at Kendrick. I'm not mad at Kendrick.
You're not mad yet.
I'm not mad at Kendrick. What am I gonna be mad at?
I don't know what he's gonna do next.
He didn't bow.
I don't know what he's gonna do next.
Somebody came to him and was like, "I'm sorry," and he was like, "All right, son, I forgive you." You know what I'm saying? He don't got to do shit. If he brings him,
Man.
He's like, all right, cool. You want a friend? You want to be friends now? Okay, cool. Let's do it.
They were friends before
because now they can capitalize off of it.
Apparently, J. Cole had something to do with getting Kendrick put on.
Now they can capitalize off of each other's of this kumbaya moment that they've had. You know what I'm saying?
Lord Jesus.
And that's that on that. And I don't really have much to give. I'm not even looking forward to the fallout. All the
podcasters and anti-toxic masculinity gurus are pointing to this at a moment where, J. Cole has done the most for the culture in a generation by showing that if you feel like you're wrong, you can still be a man and apologize. And
fuck that. Y'all didn't give Kendrick Lamar his credit when he dropped that classic, his last project that spoke nothing about being a black man in this world and accountability. Y'all motherfuckers dubbed him for that shit. Y'all didn't give him
I think that's part of the reason why Cole apologized, because he listened to the words that he actually said. He went at Kendrick's albums. He went at his artistry. He didn't go at his skills or I'm a better MC than you or any of this stuff. He literally went after oh yeah, this project was mid and blah, 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 and your last one was tragic and yada, yada, yada. And honestly, if I was somebody who was Kendrick's friend, who was a collaborator with him in the past, someone who respected him as an artist, who helped put him on, respected him to that level, I honestly would feel bad for saying some shit like that and trying to use my influence to try to shade somebody who I actually respect their artistry. Because there are ways to come at people without coming at their artistry. There are ways to keep it a competition without going for the jugular like that. You know what I'm saying? And you have influence over a whole swath of people and you're saying things that you don't really believe.
Well, maybe because he ain't got really anything else to say but to
I think he didn't really want to diss Kendrick. I think that he was trying to capture the moment.
Right.
He was trying to capture the moment.
You don't have content for him. But anyways.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
I'm over it.
How this whole thing is playing out.
I'm over it.
Oh, man.
I don't want nobody to talk to me about J. Cole and Kendrick ever again.
What about Drake? Can we talk to you about Drake?
I don't want to talk about Drake neither. I don't even... If you ain't going to talk to me about So Far Gone Drake, I don't give a damn about Drake.
Okay. That's what's up.
What we going to talk about? You want to talk about Drake?
No, I don't.
What are we talking about?
I never really
we already mentioned his last 50 push-ups. He's got clever bars.
Give me 50.
He dropped a pop. He's a pop artist. We talk about Drake so much on this damn podcast. I'm over it. Whether or not he's a pop artist, he's fucking global. I don't really give a damn. He don't influence my life. I like Drake as a So Far Gone mixtape rapper / music maker. I feel like that's when he was most authentic. And now I'm over it. I'm over it.
Okay.
That's it. That's all I got.
That's all you got.
Did O.J. do or didn't do it?
That's the question you want to ask?
Yeah. Well, all right. That was mad insensitive because someone died. I mean, a lot of people died.
So,
but O.J. died recently.
O.J. Simpson just recently passed. Go ahead.
O.J. died. He dead. Half the country is saying fuck O.J. because he got away with killing people. And then the other half of the country is saying fuck y'all, O.J. didn't do it. Rest in peace. How do you feel?
I feel a lot of things about this. I don't know whether O.J. did it or not. And I think that even the people who are so confident that O.J. did it, they just want to be convinced that he did it, right? Like, you look at what was going on at the time that Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman were murdered. And I feel like you have to make a lot of logical leaps to be like, oh, I'm absolutely sure that O.J. did it. I think that because of how America is, it was very easy for a lot of people to be like, oh, O.J. did it. And there are factors there, right? Like O.J. contributed to that. He was an abusive ass dude. The cops would come to the house often because he was beating his wife, his ex-wife, right? And he got away with a lot of shit that people who were not rich and successful and famous would not have necessarily gotten away with, right? But you also look at like the party culture of LA, what was going on at the time, the sheer volumes of cocaine that were being dealt with, and et cetera, and that these two people were murdered in a very signature Colombian necktie style, right? All of the physical evidence that was or wasn't there, all this stuff, like you're going to be like, oh, OJ is this criminal mastermind that pulled off this crime single-handedly, blah, blah, stashed all of the evidence except for the evidence that ended up being planted by the cops and then got away clean just because he's like a rich, successful black man and you don't like that he did or didn't or who he married or who he was messing with or how he presented himself in the world. And I'm just like, yo, y'all be sure of a lot of stuff. And then evidence comes out later that proves that this shit that you were sure about wasn't something that you should be sure about. And somehow it doesn't adjust in people's minds to the possibility that maybe we don't know the things that we really think we know.
Okay, so what evidence came out that was so significant that would back up he didn't do it?
So, for example, Ron Goldman, an accomplished martial artist who in his autopsy had bruises on his fists like he beat the crap out of somebody. No physical damage on OJ's body. All this slashing, all this blood. And they said, oh, he had a wetsuit and this, that, the other. And oh, he put everything in a trash bag and stashed it, but we couldn't find it. And oh, there were these 3 drops of blood, but blah, blah, blah. And like just trying to put stuff together. And then once you find out that like the police are planting evidence and had a presupposition that he was guilty, how can any of that stuff bear any weight? Like, I feel like sometimes things are obvious, right? Like, if I go and I'm going to murder one person and another person comes upon me in surprise and interrupts me and beats on me, there's going to be evidence that I took a beating, even if I killed this person eventually, the person that beat me eventually, right? You can't present any of that evidence. You basically have to ignore a whole bunch of factors of the physical evidence to come to the conclusion that OJ definitively did this by himself. He wore a wetsuit or whatever, and he had these knife skills that he learned on a movie set that, of course, anything that you learn on a movie set, immediately you can apply to the real world. And then he did this. He hopped on a plane to Chicago, cool as a cucumber. As far as we know, the first time that he murdered a single person, let alone 2 people violently at the same time, right? And somehow erased all of this evidence that would exist from an altercation of that significance, right? And then, yep, he did it. And we couldn't prove it in a court of law with the rules of evidence that we seem to stand by, which, by the way, black men are some of the most exonerated folks by DNA evidence and further evidence, which means that in a court of law, it is easier to get a black man convicted than it is to get anyone else convicted, right? So even with all that stuff stacked in your favor, you still couldn't get a conviction on this dude. But in the court of public opinion, we decided that he did it. So yeah, he's a murderer. And he did lose a wrongful death case in civil court and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And even that is like a very unusual thing. One thing that we know for sure is that he abused his wife, and that is not anything that anybody should sweep under the rug or be like, oh, that's no big deal. That is a big fucking deal, right? But like, to say that he's guilty of something that they tried really, really hard and spent a lot of resources to try to convict him of, and he didn't get convicted of it, it's a little bit of a leap to me, which is not to say that he didn't do it.
Yeah, it's all a game.
They definitely didn't prove that he did.
The court system, the lawyers, what you have to prove, evidence, crooked cop, like it's all messy, and no one ever knows the truth about a moment unless you were actually in that moment, and that's period dot. No matter what a judge says, no matter what the docket number is or how the summary reads, you don't ever know what truly happens, and nobody can ever judge, right? Like nobody. And it's interesting when we have these conversations around, like, yes, black men being exonerated, black men being, at the hands of of the police, and we know that all these things are true in the system and how it is literally designed, against Black people and to keep Black people, in capture, right? I get all of that. And then at the same time, I get that oftentimes we stretch that to excuse a lot of things that do happen in the Black community. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to go too far about this because it's not about the Black community this conversation. I'm just saying in terms of this particular moment, it's like, oh yeah, he beat his wife. So like, but that doesn't mean he could have been but and it's like true, because just because doesn't mean to other people he had the ability to kill other people or that he did the thing. Like, we're not, and the courts don't make it any easier either, because lawyers are snaky motherfuckers themselves. And you hire the best. He had Johnny Cochran, you know what I'm saying, arguably the sleaziest of the sleaziest in some ways. You know what I'm saying? Great, because he wins, right? But like how you have to get that win, especially in a court system, is gets a little tricky, and how you gotta kind of win the argument. It's not really about what actually happens now. It's about the performance in the courtroom. And so I think with all those things like playing in this particular like scenario with OJ, I can't even sway one way or the other. Like, I can't. Not to say that we shouldn't still commemorate him for who he is, and like, keep him in memory and rest in peace and give his family the blessings and the grace. At the same time, it's like, I mean, we also don't have to shut him. What is his name? The Kardashian dad woman, Caitlyn Jenner put on Twitter.
Jenner, oh my God.
Yeah, like, I'm not saying be nasty and like wish people, to hell, because that's not even.
This is a man who has family. His kids are still in the world. Like,
he's a whole human being, yo.
He was a human being,
and he had a family. And no one else, like, no one deserves to die. Like, I just feel that way. No one. And we don't know whether or not he did it. But I think that we need to stop, like, continuing to break people down. Like, this man is dead and you're still beating his name into the ground. Like,
it's crazy.
He's dead. Like, he's gone. Not even, I don't mean to say it like that to y'all, but he's no longer here. Like, why are we gonna continue to badger him for what our judgment call is around how he lived his life, or whether or not he, you know what I'm saying? He's gotten his job. If he did, guess what? Guess what? If he did do it,
right?
There's only one way. There's only one face you have to.
Yeah, it's interesting. We live
stand in front of at the end of that. So
we live in an era where people's life and legacy gets turned into content, right? And part of what
reality TV,
part of what fuels the idea of reality TV actually was the OJ trial, because the whole thing was
and everybody watched
televised.
Mm-hmm. Just like the Aaron Hernandez case.
It ushered in an era of people having a view into live court proceedings, right? Which typically court proceedings are closed, blah, blah, blah. And they were like, oh, no, bring the cameras inside. You don't even have to hear secondhand from the reporters. This was a huge media event. It was the launch of a TV network, Court TV. It was a pop culture moment. Time stood still that summer while the trial was going on, and people were logging in every day to watch the proceedings, to watch testimony, to watch this, that, the other. The people, who were involved became celebrities, the lawyers, the judge, the witnesses, right? And it's just like, all of that, of course, has an effect on the psyche of society. It becomes a part of the zeitgeist. You have to pick a side, right? It's almost like you're unable to say whether you're sure if OJ did it or not. You've got to pick a side, because otherwise you're not participating in this like exercise that we as a society have decided that we're all going to take part in,
And that's what makes everybody feel like they're the judge. Or
right.
They have control of whether or not of other people's lives. And you know what I mean? That's crazy. Like when people be trying to, what is it called? Blackball or take people off of, like it's cancel weird people, shit. Yeah. Cancel people. Like how you don't even know. Oh, well, I heard one side of the story and boy, it rattled me to the core. So I hate, you're out of here, buddy.
Right.
Like there's no room. You didn't even hear it doesn't matter. It was, and this is why, and I know sensitive times stamp, but like, and this is why I'm saying the idea of like, well, black men and black people and like the system's been against us this whole time. It's like, yes. And also we use that as an excuse across the board with black women, respectfully, when the whole black woman movement came about. If you were a black woman that was doing harm to somebody else, but was claiming harm was being done to you, guess what? Your voice wasn't getting heard because that black woman said it first. And guess what? You're fried, you're toast, and everybody was getting toasted. Like, well, I don't know about everybody, but there's people that were actually, you know what I'm saying? And it's ugly. And that across the board here with this OJ thing. It's like, did he do it? Didn't he do it? Could he have done it?
And all of that.
Maybe not.
Right. And all of that speculation, I think puts us as a disadvantage for our ability to discuss and really consider things, right? Because like to take it completely out of historical context, to be like, oh yeah, this was just a rich guy that got away with murder and isn't that so typical, is wild. Like the proximity that the O.J. Simpson trial happened in to the Rodney King trial in the same city, completely different ends of the economic spectrum and completely different outcomes, right? Because
OJ was also a celebrity. We have to remember that too.
That's what I'm saying. Completely different ends of the spectrum, right? Like nobody knew who Rodney King was until the police abused him and there was videographic evidence, which by the way, they still all got off, right? Like there was a videotape of that crime. We know for sure that they did and they were not convicted and we just kind of moved on, right? OJ, no video evidence, and he wasn't even convicted, but we couldn't move on. We held on to this idea that like he must be guilty because we think he's guilty, right? And it's like, it's interesting, right? Because like I already didn't trust the criminal justice system. And now there's like this kind of selective trust of the criminal justice system. Yeah, he didn't get convicted, but it was because of this, that, the other, and the third. And we still trust that other people who were or weren't convicted, it probably was fair, right? And I'm like, nah, let's look at the whole system. Let's look at, like, we found this huge gaping flaw in the system, allegedly, right? Like, let's look at the system and figure out where the flaws are.
I'm just not somebody
we don't want to make it about that.
I'm not somebody that thinks like, oh, well, this system is good for this part and good for that part. And, no, the whole system is fucking rotten. It's got to come down. The whole thing. Like there are no parts you can save.
A system that was
built.
You gonna get me
built.
You can get built on the idea that people can be property. Throw the whole damn thing away and start over.
3/5 a person. Y'all forget it said like 3/5 a person. Wasn't even a whole human being, fam. Human being.
Not treated with 3/5 the rights of a person. Treated with 0 the rights of a person.
Cattle.
But given 3/5 status so that slave owners could have more political power, which is how we end up with the Electoral College. This shit that still exists today and is still running rampant through this thing we call democracy, right? And like people don't want to talk about that because we can tweet cute memes about OJ and whether he's on a Bronco chase in heaven or if God is going to laugh at him when he shows up at the gates or blah, blah, right? We talking about all this shit that doesn't have any effect on our daily lives, right? Like real stuff. People's rights are being taken away on a daily basis using this system, not against the rules, right? Like using the rules. But we're concerned about this and that and the other thing. And sure, have your entertainment, have your diversions. But when it comes down to real shit that has real consequences in people's lives, let's give that the same energy too, please.
Okay, so what's your opinion on what happened in the Bronco?
What happened in the Bronco? Wow. I haven't thought about the Bronco in a long time. I mean, so
because if you're under the notion that
his boy AC came and picked him up in the Bronco. The cops were looking for him or something, and they went on a chase in the highway, right? Yeah.
See,
and that was televised.
You just conveniently forget the shitty shit he did. Oh no, I forgot that he actually went on a high speed chase and got in the car and took flight.
It was a low speed chase though.
Yeah, because he was chilling. He just didn't want to. He was just riding in the car. I don't know. We've seen the movie.
They said. Oh, you saw the movie. I was trying to remember the actual events, but not.
I remember the actual events. You couldn't see in the car. You saw them.
So he was supposed to be
on the highway.
AC was saying that he was suicidal. He had a gun in the car or something,
exactly.
Right? And so they were driving, and he was gonna kill himself or whatever. And yeah, I mean, I can't speak to anybody's state of mind or what that was all about or any of that, right? Like I mean, if there are so many theories that you could put out as to why somebody would do something like that, right? And again, right, like the speculation and to go back to you earlier, like for somebody who wasn't there to see what really happened, all I can do is speculate, right? And I can come down on one side or the other of this debate, blah, blah, blah. And at the end of the day, what are the consequences of that, you know?
We are not by any means. I'm not a journalist. That is not what I'm trying to be up here, right? Like I'm not a reporter of any news. Like, I'm gonna keep telling y'all, I'm someone with a fucking opinion.
Right.
Like everybody got assholes. I got one too. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just tired of the shits, like the celebrity shit, the fucking whatever makes the top news, other people's lives, this Diddy shit I'm over about. Like, I'm hearing the same thing going over. Like, I was wondering if Hope was going to get it next.
They still haven't found Diddy, huh?
I don't even know where Diddy is. Nobody knows where Diddy is.
Well, Diddy knows where Diddy is.
No, Diddy does not know where Diddy is.
Diddy doesn't know where he is.
Diddy been lost his whole life.
Wow.
Okay.
Now they're reviving this talk about the cat from American Gangster, Frank
White? No, Frank Lucas.
Frank Lucas apparently was friends with Diddy's dad or something and like had something to do, and Diddy was raised around him or something. Or
bro,
blah, blah.
When they started to say that Diddy Diddy bopping Diddy had something to do with Tupac murder, I knew that something was wrong. Diddy bopping let me get in your videos and shimmy shake you over here with the.
I mean, a lot of people that Diddy might have wanted to end up not alive ended up not alive.
Now you want to say not alive after we done said the K word on here 3,000 times. I gotta bleep him out.
You do have to bleep them out. I want, at least some of the concept that we're saying to come through in words, because we don't want to be deplatformed for using the words we're not allowed to use.
Yikes. Yeah, I gotta be more mindful about that. I just, I curse way too much. You saying things all loose. We gotta take that stuff. You have to speak a certain way on these platforms, or else you will get the boot. Or we'll never be able to get our little.
And I don't know
our little subscriber plaque.
And I don't know if y'all have noticed, but we are not people who are super, super fond of being restricted in what we want to say or being able to express how we think or how we feel. It's unnatural for us to censor ourselves in real time.
Yeah, but I do it for y'all. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
We only do it for our friends.
Hey, yo. Nah, but for real, we love y'all.
Nah, for real, we do. Absolutely. And yeah, fuck all this shit. Fuck these celebrities. Not fuck them like that. I know what you mean. I know I say a lot of fuck y'all, fuck this, fuck that. I just be so over it. It's a lot of energy that I ain't got no more. Like, I don't have the energy for any of this anymore. Like, I have to look at myself in the mirror every day. That's enough energy.
It takes all the oxygen out of the room. You can't talk about anything else. You got to talk about these things.
Well, you talk about these things you talk about these things and then they get censored. It's like, well, you can't say that. You got to be careful if you say that word or you do that.
Especially when you try to get at the concepts that are behind it. That's really driving this shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Come on. You got to start thinking too much. Nah, but I don't like censorship.
Nah.
But we do. I do care about how you're consuming what we're giving and what's being consumed. So I will censor some things so that I will not offend the earlobes of... Man, fuck these earlobes. What the hell am I talking about? Listen to this shit, man.
Yeah,
it's for real.
I knew that was coming too.
If it comes out in fire and curse words and however you got to hear it, it got to be delivered. It's nasty out here.
Said what we said.
Let's talk about, shout out to the month of April.
No apologies. No J. Cole out here. You know what I'm saying?
No J. Cole. Whoa.
What? Whoa.
That was not me, y'all. I didn't say no J. Cole.
Yo, maybe we can get him to write a battle rhyme about me.
Can we get J. Cole on the pod?
I have no idea.
J. Cole,
yo,
if you're watching this, and J. Cole is watching this, I need you to come on the pod.
Yeah, come on.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I respect you 100% for what you're doing and what you've done, but we just got to have a conversation. I would like to pick your brain a little bit. I would really like to see what's inside there.
And bring Joyner Lucas with you.
Yo, I don't want to talk about Joyner Lucas. I was extremely disappointed with his project.
Really?
Yeah. You haven't heard it?
But we love Joyner.
I love you, Joyner. I could probably get Joyner before J. Cole, but...
Disappointed, fam.
Joyner Lucas, I love you. Shout out from Worcester, Massachusetts. You know what I mean? I love you. I love the way you tell stories. Your concept, video concept, your visual
storytelling, all that. Yeah.
That addiction track you dropped was insane.
We talked about that.
I was so looking forward to it, but I just feel like it's very redundant. His music is starting to sound like all the same.
Really?
I'm sorry,
now
Joyner.
I gotta go listen and
I need some layers in your flow. It's very like the same sound. You know what I'm saying?
And I normally would be up on this stuff, but I've been mad busy, like gigging, so just like focused on the music I have to perform. But I got some catching up to do.
I couldn't get through the whole project. I'm sorry, Joyner.
Wow. Sorry. Maybe it's like a second or third or fourth listen type, John.
Maybe I just need to be in a particular place and time and space to listen to it. But
maybe you need to listen to some Little John meditation tapes. You know what I'm saying?
Little John meditation tapes. I need to listen to some.
Talk about somebody who pivoted. You know what I'm saying? Listen to some Lil Jon meditation tapes, and then you can go listen to Joyner and fully.
Where is Lil Jon?
He's making meditation tapes. Like he really is. Though.
Really?
Yeah.
With Andre?
You thought that was a joke. That wasn't a joke.
Meditation tapes with Andre 3000?
No, just
playing the flute?
Just with Lil Jon.
Come on, Lil Jon making meditation music.
Let's go.
J. Cole definitely could get in a collab with, you know what I'm saying, Lil Jon.
Yeah.
Spit a little poem.
Spit a little poem.
You know what I mean? J. Cole about to go into poetry, y'all.
Hey.
That's my take.
You think so?
He's gonna go into poetry. The fall off is gonna be the fall off from the game, and he's gonna become a poet, the next poet laureate of his city.
Will he actually stay retired like Jay-Z didn't?
I don't think he'll actually retire. Like say I'm retired.
Shout outs to Childish Gambino. He said we got 2 more Childish Gambino albums and then it's a wrap.
We love Childish Gambino.
He's just gonna be Donald Glover from now on. Or maybe he'll come up with a different personality.
Can you go back to like writing scripts? I like you there in acting.
Yeah.
Donald Glover is
mixtape Gambino was a monster though.
Yeah. I like Gambino.
Yeah.
What I said, man, I ain't got nothing else for the time. What you got? You got anything else? I ain't got nothing else.
Oh man, this was a roller coaster, yo. And 2024 has been a crazy year.
Indeed.
And Cat Williams warned us. He said this was going to be a crazy year. He said a lot of things were going to be revealed this year. It was going to be the realest year on record. Shout outs to the Eclipse. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, big shout out to the Solar Eclipse. That shit did something for my whole life, my existence on this earth. The clarity.
The celestial reset button, you know what I'm saying? Eclipse.
Did you get to actually see it?
No, I don't look at eclipses.
Yeah, shout out to the guy on the street that saw me looking up at the sky when you wasn't supposed to be because everybody else was doing it with their glasses on. And I was like, what? I want to see. He gave me his glasses for 5 seconds and I was able to see it.
Oh, word. How'd you feel about it?
It was beautiful. I felt like I saw history in like present time.
They were clowning. They were like, they be talking about this is the last time this will happen for 150 years, but they say that every time, and then 18 months later.
I know. I feel like we just had an eclipse like a couple years ago, but
like 2.5 years ago.
Yeah, I remember that eclipse. I didn't see it. This is the first eclipse I've ever seen, but it just looked like a crescent orange moon. Like the moon was bright orange and it was a crescent. So by the time I got to see it, it was like passing.
Oh, it was after the full.
Yeah, because it was a full. Yeah, it was a full. I was seeing it as it moved.
People like to look at the corona. There's like, the, I don't know, it's 90 or whatever seconds that you can look at it safely when it's at full, like 100%.
With the glass? With the glasses on?
No, you can take the glasses off.
All I know is it got really dark and really cold outside. It was a beautiful day. It was hot, and then it got really cold.
Especially in Boston, the sun provides a lot of heat.
Man. But anyways, shout out to the solar eclipse because energetically it did its thing. And yeah, that's where I'm at with it. What else? I'm done, bro. I'm done with this segment anyways. We could pause and regroup.
Yeah, we can pause. Let's pause and regroup. This was a great segment. I appreciate you.
Yeah. Bye.
Peace.
We gotta do it one more time.
You are now in tune to the Phree Game Podcast.
Okay. Yellow dope. That was mad cute.